Good morning, guys. Dr. Val here. A little late today. Okay, today we're going to talk about my number 3 health tip. If you haven't seen any of the others, number 1, if I have any advice to sit down and tell somebody, number 1, no sugar, no wheat. Number 2, eat healthy fats. Number 3, we're going to talk about today, and that is intermittent fasting. There's actually several types of fasting, and there's good ways and bad ways to go about them, and there's good, extremely good things and good benefits that your body gets out of fasting, but there are unhealthy ways to go about it. But that gets more into some other types of fasting. Today I'm just going to talk about intermittent fasting, daily intermittent fasting. So I'm going to define what that means. It means that you're eating a good amount of calories every single day, but you're only eating within a certain window of time. That might be 4 hours out of the day to at most 8 hours out of the day. So it means that you are fasting at least 12 hours between meals, between when you're eating, to 16 to even 18 hours, or 20 hours. First I'm going to talk about some of the benefits that intermittent fasting gives you. There are other terms out there that you might hear about. As I've done some reading in the last few days, there are actually a lot of terms. Everybody kind of comes up with their own different term for their fasting. There's terms like prolonged fasting, block fasting, extended fasting. Anyway, there's some different terms. I'm using the term block fasting for longer periods of time, meaning 4 days-ish. Roughly 4 days. We're not talking about a 30-day fast or a 40-day fast. And there's different reasons, medically and health-wise speaking, there's different reasons to want to do that, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Intermittent fasting, daily intermittent fasting means you're still eating a large amount, but you're eating less often. Okay? Don't eat less food. Just eat less often, okay? You're not seriously calorie restricting. That's really important, or your body goes into starvation mode with intermittent fasting, because you're doing this on a regular basis. So when you calorie restrict for a very long period of time, it actually slows down your metabolism, and you will not be able to lose weight. And I'll come back to that phrase. Even if you're eating 500 calories a day, your body will slow down so much because it thinks it's starving. That's not really what you want to do. So why would you intermittent fast? There are different benefits to it. There are there's amazing benefits to it, first of all. One of which is losing weight. Okay. That shouldn't be the primary goal of fasting. Fasting is not a great way to lose weight. It is a great way to heal many, many, many things in the body. You have to kind of get out of the mentality. Your body's inability to lose weight means that it's not healthy to begin with. So you cannot just focus on weight as a goal. You have to focus on the body as a whole and healing the cell, healing things from a cellular level and a cellular perspective. So weight loss in and of itself should not be an end goal. Now, will it happen when you start intermittent fasting? Yes, it will. You will lose some amount of weight. But that should not be your goal. This is not a weight loss gimmick. This is a body healing tool, okay? So I'll talk a little bit more about how to do it. I have very scattered notes today, so I apologize. I'm probably going to miss half of this. So the benefits, let's start with that. All right. So think of this analogy. If you were going to remodel your bathroom and make it into some beautiful, glorious, oh, it's going to be, really nice, what do you have to do first in order for that remodel to happen? Can you continue using that bathroom and the tub and the shower and have all your stuff out on the counter if you're going to remodel it? No. The first thing that you have to do is quit using that bathroom. It's off limits. Then, once you've quit using it, you have to start tearing stuff out. All that has to happen before you can bring in anything new and put in a nice new tub or the nice new countertops. Okay? Your body is the same way. The cells get damaged with a lot of things. Okay? Your cell membranes and the mitochondria, which is where all of your energy, the cell energy, comes from. The mitochondria make that energy. They make ATP. And they get damaged and slowed down from a number of things. So the energy of the cell to even function right can slow down from stress, from and that's emotional stress, physical stress, lots of different sources of stress. When stress is high in the body, your sympathetic system is releasing all of these fight or flight chemicals in the body, which is great for the short term. It's horrible for the long term. So if you're in a really stressful situation, stressful relationship, stressful illness, stressful X, Y, or Z, over the long period of time, that high level of stress hormones that are being released all over in your body that are saying, fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, over the long period of time, that does massively extensive damage on a cellular level across your entire body. So stress is a big factor of how the mitochondria and the cell walls get damaged. See, I wrote all this down. Toxins is another way that mitochondria in particular get damaged. And by toxins, I mean anything that is not natural to your body. It is not composed of amino acids. It's not carbon-based anything. Okay, when you eat anything that's been packaged, when you inhale fumes from your cleaning products, when you take synthetic medications, when you get immunizations, when you are putting things on your skin, lotions, makeup, whatever, that stuff that is not natural to your body, all those chemicals are taken up into the body, and the body doesn't know what to do with them. It doesn't have a pathway to get rid of chlorhexa blah 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 25 X, Y, or Z, or the alphabet soup of chemical compounds that are put into many, many things, whether it's for food and drink or whether it's our cleaning things and our environmental things that are just absorbed through our skin and absorbed or breathed in. Those chemicals that we take in, the body doesn't have a pathway of a way to excrete that or get rid of it. So a lot of these chemicals and toxins, while we're told they are safe because they're tiny, tiny, tiny amounts, we have so many things that bombard your system today that we didn't have 50 years ago or 80 years ago. We are exposed to tons more, and the body doesn't have a way to get rid of it. So it stuffs it into the cells. It stuffs it into places where it just has to get it out of the way because it doesn't have a way to transport it. It doesn't have a way to excrete it. And the mitochondria in particular are damaged and have been found to be damaged from a number of toxins that your body just absorbs and can't excrete. So the mitochondria slow down their ability to make ATP, which is your energy fuel for the cell and thus for the body. So the cell can't function well if the mitochondria are slowed down or damaged. And toxins is one thing. Inflammation is another. Through chronic illness or just the generally inflammatory state that our bodies are in from stress and from our diet. Your diet contributes a lot to the inflammatory chemicals that are being produced in your body. High sugar diets. Sugar is very, very, very inflammatory in a lot of ways. It changes the pH in your gut, which changes your microbe balance in your gut. So there's a lot of things that contribute overall to having a high amount of inflammatory markers in your body. And that leads to downstream a whole lot of issues and contributes to a lot of chronic diseases. So fasting basically allows your body to downregulate all of those things, okay? Because normally when you are eating and going and eat, your body, all of your cells are taking nutrients in, taking lots of stuff in and trying to keep up with what you're giving it, okay? It can't ever get to the rebuilding part phase if you're constantly throwing usually sugar at it. And the body's it's still using that room. It's still using that cell. So fasting gives your body a chance to stop using it, break down some of those damaged proteins, damaged cell membrane parts, and actually allows it to focus on building a new protein for that in that place, for repairing the cell wall. And until you literally stop giving the cell all of these food signals and chemicals to deal with, but food, until you give it a break, it will continue to just fire on all the cylinders, even if half of them are broken. It doesn't have time to repair. That's what you're giving your body a chance to do, is to repair itself. So even intermittent fasting on a daily basis, even just that amount of time where you're going 16 hours between eating. So I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. Okay, so it helps with glucose regulation. So it helps to flatten out those sugars and insulin levels when you eat. As a whole, it helps to upregulate your body's ability to start to burn fat, because we eat so many times a day, and there's a lot of carbohydrates in most meals. There's a lot of sugars in most meals, and what that leads to is your body's inability to know not to know what to do with fat, but it never turns on the mechanisms to burn your own fat, okay? That happens over time. Your body has to learn how to do that, because our diet doesn't let your body do that ever. And if you just switch into starvation mode and are not actually giving it the other things that it needs, in a high amount of fat in your diet, in particular, the body will switch to tearing down muscle before it burns fat. So that's why I say there's dangerous ways to jump into fasting if the other amount of your diet isn't high in good fats and low in those inflammatory things like sugar and wheat, because wheat equals sugar to your body, as well as has a lot of other inflammatory things. Okay? So this all kind of fits together. So that's why this is number 3. You get mental clarity. So we know that Alzheimer's is these certain kind of protein that gets built up in the brain. Intermittent fasting and block fasting in particular, longer amounts of fasting, have been shown to radically actually reduce those number of proteins in the brain and increase mental clarity. There's a number of studies that I've just been reading. It's phenomenal. This kind of not eating for periods of time, this has been around for millennia among mankind and different cultures, and there's studies out on cultures that still eat that way today, where it's feast or famine a lot of times, depending on the season, depending on, well, the hunt went good, and so everybody gets to feast tonight. Nobody gets to eat, until that food comes in. If you're successful at a hunt, and you eat everything, you eat the fat, you eat the marrow, you eat, all of these other things that we in our culture get rid of, that we don't eat. Those high fats is what's really important to carry you over till the next hunt is successful. So there's cultures out there where they have studied these patterns and why there's a lot of benefit in health to fasting in particular. But you get mental clarity, a lot of mental clarity. When you're eating a high amount of fat, and I can attest to this, being in, I've done a ketogenic diet for a while now, and I've fallen out of the ketogenic diet. I didn't do it successfully after I went on vacation, and so I'm getting back into that. But I can absolutely attest that when my body was fat adapted and in burning fat, oh my word, I was focused. I wasn't so distracted. I was mentally very just able to tackle a lot of things. I had tons of energy because my body was burning off fat. And that is a benefit to fasting. Fasting is a big key in that. Okay, let's see. Fasting, so not only does it allow those things to start healing, it will allow some of those really damaged cells to die off. And then what you're feeding your body when you are eating again, when you are breaking that fast, is really important. You can't just go throw candy bars and ice cream at it. So what you're eating becomes really more important because you may only be eating twice a day. And that would be like a lunch and dinner, or a late lunch and a dinner. But when you're eating, like a light lunch and a huge dinner, You're not saying, oh, well, I'm not going to eat that. You don't want to calorie restrict. You are eating a lot, but you're eating really good stuff. So what you're eating becomes more important. So I was talking about Alzheimer's. Fasting has been shown that it helps give the body enough time to break those proteins down. When you fast, your growth hormone goes up. Growth hormone is what stimulates your body to build new proteins of any kind. So all the building blocks of the body, all of the new hormone receptors, all of the new bits and pieces come that's stimulated when you fast, okay, because growth hormone goes up. So in that bathroom remodel analogy, you can't start building the new stuff without that fasting period as well. There's also cancer benefits. There's a lot of studies right now that I've read recently with benefits to cancer, because fasting starves down all of the immune system cells, and it actually rebuilds or generates stem cells, actual stem cells, that can then go in and repair and replace damaged and malfunctioning cells. The mechanism is fascinating to me, and these are brand new studies that are coming out, but it's huge. I mean, that's a huge deal, and they're talking about fasts of 2 to 4 days, not 40-day fasts or anything like that, but doing it on a semi-regular basis in some of these studies. So block fasting I'll talk about later. Intermittent fasting is kind of like the first step that anybody can do, no matter where you are in your health, no matter where you are in your diet. Starting intermittent fasting is a first step that anybody can jump into, and there are absolute health benefits to it. So how you do that. Okay, and you can take supplements. Your supplements are okay to take. If you're on medications, take your medications as prescribed. So what you want, this starts your body to get fat adapted to going longer and longer and longer. And oh wait, I do have fat stored. How do I get to it? Because if you eat pretty typical, you're going to be starving in 2 or 3 more hours. And that's because your body has sent an insulin spike to cover all the sugar that you just ate at your last snack or meal. And your body has to get adjusted. It's kind of like going through withdrawals of it's going to take a week or 2. But the longer that you start to make that block of not eating, your body adjusts. And after that amount of time, you can start to really go longer, and your body will be like, oh, I do have fat, and I can get to it, and I'm not starving. And it will start to turn over. I've done intermittent fasting for about 6 months now, I guess. 6, 7 months. And I do that 6 days a week regularly, sometimes 7 days a week. And that's okay. You know, if you can start to do this on a regular basis, and at first it may be, okay, I'm going to eat dinner an hour earlier, or breakfast an hour later, you've just extended that overnight block of time from 8 hours to 10 hours, or from 10 hours to 12 hours. If you're not eating between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. normally, that's 12 hours. Can you extend it a couple more hours and get used to that? And extend that a couple more hours until you're not eating, say, after 6:30 or 7 until noon the next day. And then until, 1 or 2. And if dinner time, if your family dinner time is 6 o'clock, okay, great. Then eat, between, 1 and 6, or, noon and 5, or whatever window works best for you. It might be 10 and 4. Maybe you eat early dinner. Maybe you eat really late if you're at a restaurant. Well, then try to eat later in the morning and eat between 3 and 8 or 3 and 7 or something. But make the block of time that you're eating shorter and go longer and longer. Water is fine. Black coffee is fine. And particularly when you're getting started in intermittent fasting, you in those first weeks, you may feel sluggish because your body is like, I don't have any sugar. What am I going to do? Then try putting a little bit, maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon of coconut oil in your coffee, or taking a small bite or a small slice of avocado. Avocado has a lot of good oils in it. Just to give your body enough oil to realize, oh, okay, I am going to get something. Oil, what do I do with oil? And it might start to trigger that body's mechanism of, handling oil. Oh yeah, here's how I can use oil for, to take oil, turn it into the sugar that I need, the fat, I mean. So that's what the body's doing. So if you do get sluggish, have a little bit of oil. And that's why I drink bulletproof coffee. I've done several videos on bulletproof coffee. Bulletproof coffee is coffee with those good, healthy oils, which I've talked about before, blended in your coffee. And if that really bothers your stomach, do not start at the doses that I say, with 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil in it, because your body may be very unaccustomed to that amount of oil in it. In that case, start with a teaspoon of coconut oil and a teaspoon of grass-fed butter, and blend those up and drink that in the morning. Your body will start to get used to, oh, fat, I know what to do with that. The other reason why you often get nauseous, if you put a lot of fat in your system and your body doesn't know what to do with it, it's a sign that your liver is really, it's dealing with too much sugar. It's very inflamed from all the sugar that it's processing and all the other things. And over time, with intermittent fasting, that gets better as well. It helps your liver to give it a chance to kind of detox. So that gets better, and you can increase that amount of fats. So what I do every day, usually, other than Fridays are my other day because my son is out of school on Fridays, and we have a routine of doing some fancy breakfast, and we'll do some really special breakfast thing on Friday mornings. And so I kind of save that day for, I'm going to eat breakfast. That's fine. I'm still eating a healthy breakfast. But all the other days, I daily intermittent fast. So I'll get up, I'll make my coffee, I'll make my bulletproof coffee, blend in those good healthy fats, and that gives me plenty of energy, and I don't even get hungry usually until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sometimes I'm heading to go pick my son up from school, and I'm like, man, I'm hungry. So then you have to be careful. My downfall is that I will then tend to snack all afternoon until dinner, and that's not what you want to do. You want to eat less often. So eat a meal and then eat dinner, whenever your afternoon, whenever you're getting hungry, whenever that lunch is, even it might be something light, but don't snack all afternoon. That's what you want to avoid. Frequent eating speeds up everything in your body and your metabolism, and it ages the cells faster. That's another benefit, that it literally slows down aging when you are intermittent fasting. Okay, I hope that's given you enough information to go and start trying this. And I mean try it on a regular basis, at least 5 days a week. Especially when you're adjusting to it, do it every single day. Until your body gets used to that, what to do with fat, and it gets over that sugar crave, I need something every 2 to 3 hours. As your insulin levels start to flatten out, because you are not giving your body so many spikes all throughout the day. Every time you put something in your mouth, you're spiking your sugar and you're spiking your insulin. And so as that starts to level out, you start to lose those cravings, because what drives your craving was the previous insulin spike from the previous meal 2 hours before. Okay, so it's a catch-22 that most people are caught in. You get hungry 2 to 3 hours after you've eaten, and it's because of what you ate before. Your insulin has gone up, and now you're hungry again. It's generating a craving because your insulin level is about to crash your system. And since your body only knows how to use sugar, then it thinks, I need more sugar, I need more sugar. As that starts to level out, everything gets better. Okay, this doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. But just stick with it. If you have questions, comments below, or comment those below, and I would love to help anybody try to step into this and do this. But, drink tons of water, have your black coffee, or try some bulletproof coffee, and start intermittent fasting and give it a few weeks. It's cheap, doesn't cost anything. It takes less time to fast than it does to cook something special. Try it. The health benefits are amazing. So that's all for today. Another time I'll talk about block fasting. But this is something that anybody can jump into at any point, and with any health condition, with any medication you're on, it doesn't matter. It is a great place to start, and the health benefits are incredible. So this is Dr. Val. I'll catch you next time, next week, same time, 9 a.m. Central. We'll do another coffee chat and bring you, might be my last top 4, I might add a 5th, healthy tip that anybody can start using. So have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.